did not. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm on my laptop. So sorry, YouTube. It's going to look really bad, but my webcam just crashed for some reason. I might plug it in just to see if it works. I don't think so. No. Oh God, that looks awful. Sorry, guys, but this is where my daughter gets all my videos from. I really want to get it connected up. Oh, webcam. Oh well, just leave it like that. I'm just going to move this around a little bit, maybe. Sorry about that. Take your time. Thank you. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. Sorry, YouTube. I know it's dark. Move this around a little bit. Okay. Any additions you can recommend on the behavior board for 7-year-old, in addition to the media blackout? We're concerned she will be on a blackout for 3 months, but may need a stronger consequence. You start with the positive action, then you defer to the media blackout if she won't do the positive action. She should eventually learn, because you're only doing media blackout for 1 day. They usually will learn. They might go for 2 or 3 days with it, okay? But they eventually learn depending on how important it is to them. So yeah, give it a go. I don't know how hard you've tried with that. Like, have you done it for a couple of days so far? Yeah, and you might have to hire me. Like if it's really not going well, you might have to hire me and to check it out. Because sometimes, this is all general advice. When you just get the free behavior board, it's general. The course is a lot more intensive, but coaching is personal. So I can assess exactly what you're doing. Sometimes in coaching, I don't even use the behavior board. So usually I do, but I don't always. Like today, I didn't really use it today at all with one client. So. Okay, you say to not overpraise. Does that mean to not praise behavior at all? Like, could I say you were so good at the grocery store, thank you for being a good listener, or not? How to focus on the good. I don't talk like that. Do you know why? I just don't. Kids don't really care about it. If they did, I would. They don't really care about it. I would say, hey, let's go to the park. They clue in that if I'm good, we're going to go to the park. So on the way home, you might stop off at the park. Hey, we're going to swing for 20 times before we go home. Or as soon as we get home, we'll go to the park once I put all the groceries in the fridge. That's what they want. The praise is it's okay. It's not bad, but it almost implies like you're surprised. Like I would never have said that to my kids. Weren't you good today? They were good every day. Like if I'd said that, they would have said, well, what was I like yesterday? You see? It would be like if I went out with a friend and they said, you were so good tonight at dinner. Would you say that to a friend? It's kind of similar. Think about it. This is one of those things that is praising. When I get a child psychologist as a client, there's 2 things they argue consistently. That's one of them. I always say praise doesn't get what you want from kids. Play does. Consistency, structure, play. Play is way more important than praise to a child. It also, like I said, can you imagine saying to a friend, you were so good at dinner today. I'm so proud of you. Think about it. Why do you say that to kids? It implies they're normally rotten. That's why I don't like reward charts. I think they're horrible. A reward chart sends the message, you're normally rotten. If you should happen to be good, you'll get a gold star. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I used to say to my kids, if you're good, life is good. If you're bad, life ain't so good. I'll make sure of that because I'm your mom. So yeah, we just had a fun life. I didn't praise them. They were good. They knew they were good. I knew I was like, I'd said I love them every day. I was always saying that. And they knew they were treasured. That's different than saying, weren't you good today? Why would I have said that to my kids? My son probably would have said, well, what was I like yesterday? He would have picked up on that, I think. Everyone wants to praise. I don't know why. I guess it's so out there to praise them. And yet a lot of parents don't play a lot with their kids. Parents tend to overpraise and underplay. Any advice for introducing firstborn with a baby? Nope. It's an adjustment. It's a transition. You can't prepare them for it. Were you really prepared for your first child? Really? You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's a huge adjustment. It's a transition time. You can't prepare them for it. Everyone wants to avoid all the scenes and that. Sometimes you're just going to have them. You just got to go through them. Okay, this one is, you're asking me about how to handle adults, which I don't really do, but I'll give you just one little bit of advice. What action or what to say when your parents discipline or pile on your kids when you're there? So in other words, your parents are undermining your parenting. By the way, I would never do that to my kids. Like I would never insult their parenting by doing that. I think it's mean, to be honest. So you know what I would say if I had my mother would never have done that, because she would have seen that as just insulting me and rude. Anyway, she was a really nice person. Anyway, so I would just say, when you undermine my parenting, it hurts my feelings. If they don't respect that, then there's no hope for them, right? If they do not respect that, there's no hope. I would never insult my son and his girlfriend. Why would I do that? I would never tell them what to do, never undermine them. Yeah, because that would be insulting. And they're doing a great job. And just because they may not do everything the way I do it, am I perfect? No, maybe they'll do it better, right? Can you comment on defiant behavior with a 7-year-old? That says that you're not a leader. That's a reflection of your parenting. So work on yourself. If you're a leader, they're not defiant. They just aren't. It doesn't make any sense at all. There's no defiance with a leader as a parent. So work on yourself. Your child's behavior is just a direct result of your parenting or lack of leadership. So work on yourself. Check out my boot camp course. It goes from 3 to 12 years old, and it's all about you and your leadership. And once you're a leader, kids, why would they act out with a leader? It doesn't make any sense. They look up to you. Sorry, YouTube. I know I'm looking like this, but my webcam just isn't working right now for some reason. I plugged it back in too. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Everyone wants to fix their kids. You got to look in the mirror. It's all you. It's you. It's not your kids. Take the blame. Take the responsibility. Take the ownership of your kid's behavior. Everyone went, oh, he got ADHD. He's got ODD. Oh, no. Cop out. Cop out. Set yourself up as a leader. Yeah, it's all I teach here. It's all about you and your leadership. You lead, they will follow. You know the pool story? That's the best story for this. You must have heard that. I've told it a million times. I've actually posted that. I've pinned it. It's the very first video on my Instagram. I don't know about Facebook. I don't do any of it, but I did go in and put it in Instagram and TikTok. It's the very first video. It's called Example of Leadership Parenting, and it's the pool story. I have 2 stories like that. One is next level with a teenager, but I don't like to tell. I only tell that in coaching. It's sort of more involved. But yeah. Set yourself up as a leader. They will respect you. They will want to please you. It's just a natural instinct. Fix yourself. Yeah, fix yourself. It's all about you. I've worked with hundreds of kids. And teenagers and delinquent teenagers, toddlers, ADHD, WXYZ. I managed to get respect with them all. Was it me or them? Right? I went in. I figured it out. I earned it. I worked my butt off for that. I figured it out. So yeah. And once you're good at it, they just look up to you. They just do. You become like a mentor. And they want to please you because you make them feel good about themselves. So that's all I teach here. That's all I teach. You can only change yourself anyway. You're so busy reacting to your kids, you want them to react to you. That's what a leader, they will react to a leader in a positive way. And you make them feel good about themselves. They're proud of themselves when you make them feel great. I know I was working with a teenager a long time ago. And he said to me, I didn't like myself until I met you. Now, that was probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. So now this teenager was very out of control. But imagine how hard I worked to get that relationship. You got to put in the work, right? So potty training at 2.5. Any advice? Yes, I have a whole course on that. Check that out. It's in the link above. It's a whole system. I can't go into it here. It's a course. So check it out. 2.5 is what I recommend. Okay, my toddler hits. He's almost 2.5. We do consistent corrective action. Timeouts, but really not. Oh, I hate timeout. Yeah, I can't stand timeout. That's like saying you go over there, you're not even worth talking to. And you say, and you think about what you did. They're sitting there feeling like crap. I think it's mean. It's humiliating. So yeah, I don't like timeout. Check out my Toddlers Who Hit course. It's separate from the tantrum course. If they hit during a tantrum, that's a different course. All my mini courses are all above. Everything I have is in the link above. But I have a Toddlers Who Hit, Bite, etc. course. And then so it's basically aggressive toddlers, how you deal with that. And it goes into detail on how you deal with that. So yeah, it's a process. They're not going to learn right away. But don't do timeout. I hate timeout. Can't stand it. And also, don't pick and choose different pieces of advice from different parenting people or experts or whatever you want to call us. You can't mix it up. It's like a diet. I have a whole program how I teach leadership, and I'm the only one that teaches it because I invented this, right? I've been doing this for 52 years. So I teach this one method. And if you were to throw time out into my method, it's not going to work. It's like diets. You don't pick and choose what you like from different diets, do you? You got to pick a program, go with it. Like I know when I get a client and they say, we've got a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a play therapist, an occupational therapist. We've got all this and that. And you, now this is what they're doing. And I'm like, ho, 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 I'll slow down. Not saying not to use those other people, but all I talk about is what I do. I'm not trying to fit into a mold with what everyone else is doing. You know, I teach leadership here, and it can go along with anything else that's going on in their lives. So yeah, pick a path and stick with it. Do you believe in ADHD? What do you mean? Like a religious thing? ADHD. Do I believe in it? I don't know what you mean by that. Don't get political with me. I don't do that. You say for us grandparents to not interfere, but what if son-in-law continually puts 2.5-year-old naughty corner and gives him a 5-minute lecture, even when we are in public? Okay, I'm going to ask you something here. If anything you said, would it make a difference anyway, or just build animosity between you and your daughter and your son-in-law? Think about it. Is it going to help or just build animosity? Think about it. I do not butt in, ever. My adult children, they lead their own lives, and I'm just there to support them. If it was life and death stuff, yeah, of course I'd step in, but not, no. Think about it. Would it help? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, you mind your own business with other people's kids. I would never interfere in someone else's kids. But if they drop their kids off at my place, grandma's rules or my rules, okay? You see? Yeah, don't micromanage other people. If you trust someone to look after your kid, don't micromanage them. Timeouts, yeah, get rid of them. They're stupid. I hate timeout. Can't stand it. It's ridiculous. Imagine if you made a mistake at work and your boss said, you go sit in the naughty corner for 36 minutes because you're 36 years old, or in my case, 63 years old. 63 minutes. One person on here said, oh, I would love a 36-minute break. So, but isn't that just humiliating? Kids are no different. It's humiliating. Yeah, I would never do that to a kid. I can't see the link above. Please, can you send it to me? I wouldn't even know how to send it to you. I don't do that. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, just look. It's in the Instagram somewhere. I don't know Instagram. I've never been on it, so I don't do it. I don't know social media, but I know lots of people find the link, so I know it's up there. Just keep looking. It'll be there. Was asking about ADHD because you said it was a cop-out. It's a cop-out to say my child's crazy because he's got ADHD. And then you just sort of go like that. That's the cop-out part. It's like, yeah, my kid's got ADHD. It's just more work for me to try and get my leadership cemented. Those are all the kids I worked with. So yeah, it's just more work. But a lot of parents tend to say, well, there's nothing I can do. He's got ADHD. Did you know ODD, oppositional defiant disorder? Doctors have actually told me this. It's not a medical diagnosis. It's something that was made up to make moms feel better about themselves. It also was made up so that moms can go, not my fault, not my responsibility. Isn't it ridiculous? Isn't it absolutely ridiculous? But yeah, that's what they told me. There is no such thing as ODD. It just means you got a feisty kid that you don't know how to handle. But don't worry about it. It's not your fault. He's got ODD. This is what they're doing. This is what it's come to. Parents are just absolving themselves of all responsibility. It's the school's fault. It's the school's fault. School should be parenting. Yeah, what's left for you if you're not dealing with behavior? Poor schools. Okay. How to encourage my 3-year-old to keep going when doing something, then giving up and getting frustrated. Well, I don't know what they're doing. And also, does it really matter? Can't they just give up? Like, they'll eventually learn how to keep going. A lot of social pressure involved in that kind of thing. So when they get to school, they'll see if they can't do math, they can't just throw their pencil across the room. They have to learn. So that's that tenacity. A lot of kids are born with it and some kids aren't, but in school, they'll get social pressure to go through with stuff. But for now, yeah, I don't know what the situation is. Sometimes in coaching that comes up, and I need a specific. You know what I mean? I can't give you a general answer with that. Just love on those grandbabies and play with them. Absolutely. Yeah, my granddaughter's 4 months old now, and parents are doing a great job. The mom, you never know with moms. Like you always think, oh, I hope she doesn't get postpartum, or because she's up all night. This mother of my granddaughter, she's just great. She just really, really good. She loves it like I did, leaning into it, loving it. So that's a huge relief for me because I thought parenting can be, especially mothering. You're breastfeeding all night. You got this baby. But yeah, she's just done great. I'm very lucky. But if she wasn't doing great, I'd just be there to support her, right? Yeah, I'm very lucky. If you don't do timeouts, what do you suggest doing? The behavior board, if they're 3 and over, under that, it's consistent corrective actions. So if they hit, let's say they use a toy and they hit, you say no, put the toy away, and that's it. If they hit, you just physically, if you don't have a toy or anything you can take away, you just remove the fun from them or remove them from the fun, okay? Just for a couple minutes or so. Then each time they do it, remove them. When they're under 16 months old, you use distraction. So you remove them and then distract them with another game or something. But don't distract them with something too exciting because that's a reward for what they just did. Okay? No one ever distracts with broccoli. They're always distracting with candy. Don't do that. Just redirect and play something else under 16 months. 16 months to 35 months, it's all consistent corrective actions. They will eventually learn. But my top 3 tips for parenting toddlers will kind of help with this. The first one especially. Number 1, these are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. What time is it? Okay, I thought I was running out of time here. My top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. That helps you an awful lot with stuff. Number 2 is you set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3 is when you want to connect with a toddler under the age of 3, you enter their world. You do not go to the nail salon with a 2-year-old. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. Number 4 is kind of similar. When you want to discipline a toddler, you enter their world. They're not about words. They're about actions. All these mini therapy sessions discussing all their big feelings and big emotions is just garbage. Absolute garbage. Use your words. I can't believe the first time I ever heard that. Use your words. How patronizing is that? They are using their words, kicking and screaming and throwing themselves. That is their communication. Use your words. What you're saying is you're not good enough the way you are. Be more like me. Find your inner adult. It's so patronizing. Anyway, I hate all that stuff because it's so stupid. It's just completely clueless about toddlers. Anyway, number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years and for the first year, you were a potato laying on a mattress. Like they're just forming, okay? Your expectations of toddlers are usually way too high. And you're always trying to explain things to them. Understanding something does not make them stop doing it, okay? Understanding does not make them stop doing something. You're always trying to explain everything to them. The more you explain, the more they complain and the more they do it. Yeah, they're about consistent corrective actions. Likely in the stories. No, my link is right in my bio, I think it is. I don't know. I don't know anything about social media. My daughter does all that. It's funny, we have like a business meeting every morning on our way to the gym. And she'll show me, oh, I'm going to post this on the story. And I'm like this. I don't listen to any of that. I mean, I'm talking about parenting and all the techniques that I talk about. She's not interested in that. That's why we get along so well in business, because we have completely different roles. She hates being in front of the camera. She said she'll do a pop-in one day, but that's it. Timeout doesn't work long-term. Quiet use of time isn't the same as productive or successful use of time. Yeah, it's just timeout is like putting them in jail. It's like you're getting rid of them because you don't know. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. Go over there because I don't know what I'm doing. Just go over there. It's horrible. I want them right here. I'm dealing with them right here, right in front of me. That's why I would never use a behavior board. It's a teaching tool. I've never used one. I wouldn't. I don't want a behavior board coming between me and a kid. I want them looking right at me. Like there's no way I would use a behavior board. But it's a brilliant way of teaching you how to do this. I shouldn't say it was brilliant because I made it up. How dumb was I? I just called myself brilliant. Okay, it's an effective teaching method. I started my business 17 years ago, and the first year I didn't have a behavior board. I was teaching parents how to talk to kids like I do, how to deal with them like I do, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Like they were getting results, but nowhere near what I thought they should. Then I invented the behavior board, and I put them on it. The whole point is with leadership, you are accountable too. You have rules. You have consequences. The kids get to punish you too. If they don't, then what are you doing? Are you just a dictator? You're not responsible for anything you do? Yeah, you got to be on there too. So anyway, the behavior board's a great teaching tool. After about 4 weeks in the course, the boot camp course, and with coaching, about week 4, we move away from the behavior boards. It's just teaching you how to get organized and do this and start one step at a time. Yeah, everything changed. 16 years ago when I invented that behavior board with putting the parents on it, everything changed. I haven't changed that board in 16 years. It's just an accountability chart, really. A lot of my clients have taken it to work with their staff too. They have fun with it. Like they put funny stuff on it. Why does my 2.5-year-old scream at random in the evening? I'm going to say my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. They're not figure outable. They haven't formed yet. I can't answer that. I don't know why they just scream. We practice leadership in our house, and it's only the last 2 months that our son has been showing, I don't know what that means, signs of defiance at home and at school. So it's going backwards. You're missing something. Yeah, something's going on. Unless something's happening at school that's upsetting them, something you don't know about, and they're bringing it home too. But other than that, you're missing something. Something's going on. You might want to look into coaching or just get the course, maybe, the boot camp course. Like oftentimes people will say, it's just not working. And then they'll hire me. And then I'll say, oh, show me how you talk to them. Show me how you do that. And then, yeah, there's just something that they're doing that they just don't pick up on. Thank you for answering the ADHD. It's been tough for working on leadership. Okay, ADHD, just to address this, it makes no difference to me because that's where I learned all this stuff, okay? They're just more work, that's all. It's all the same methods though. Everyone responds beautifully to leadership. Leadership is, hey, I'm accountable. I have consequences, rules and consequences. So do you, okay? And that's what life is. It's teaching them life skills, how to be self-disciplining. And I used to say, and I never told kids what to do. You can do whatever you want, but if you make a poor decision, I'll come in with a consequence. That's what my kids learned. I never told them what to do. I said, it's all your choice. My son hated that. He'd say, oh, I really try. And I said, it's your choice. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And he'd go, oh, I hate that. I know it's my choice. I get it. So they were very self-disciplining. They knew that it was all up to them. That's why I never nagged or anything. I never repeated myself. They could do whatever they want, but I'll come in with a consequence if they made a poor choice. They knew that, right? But if I did something wrong too, they would look at me like they'd look at each other. If I messed up, they would look at each other like this. And I'd go, oh, shoot, what do you want? We'd love to go to the water slide park tomorrow. Fine, I'll bring your suits. So, yeah, you got to be accountable. And also, I never yelled. Yeah, if you yell, it erases all this. But you're going to be yelling at first, probably. Most parents start out yelling, but once you get good at it, you'll stop yelling. You don't need to. Like my son used to say, if another kid came over, and he said, if my mom ever whispers, run, because that's when I'm disciplining. I get very quiet when I'm disciplining. So, yeah. Discipline, I get very like a business transaction. There's no emotions in disciplining. Okay. I already said this on Facebook, but I just want to thank you for your support. I don't know how many followers I've got here now, but yeah, I just grew really quickly online. And I think it's just the timing is right too. I think the pleaser parent styles finally had its day because the teachers are quitting right, left, and center because kids are so ill-behaved, so rude, so entitled. And I remember 40 years ago when this pleaser parent whole genre started coming in. It came in with the participation awards. I thought it was a joke when I first heard that. I mean, I just turn up and I get an award. Is that the stupidest thing you ever heard of? Anyway, couldn't believe it. You know, I just went grocery shopping the other day. I turned up there. No one gave me an award. Talk about not preparing kids for life. Stupid. Anyway, so yeah, I think the time has come. Parents realize that children do actually need leadership. They need guidance. They need you to help them. They don't need you just to give them whatever they want. They need you to guide them into being good people, having high self-esteem. Leadership gives kids high self-esteem. They got something to be proud of. If they're acting out, not doing what they should be doing, where's their pride coming from? They don't have any. That's on you. So yeah, you've got so much more control over your kids than you would even believe. Between the ages of 3 and 12, their behavior is 100% a direct result of your parenting. Under that, they're just nuts anyway because they're toddlers. And then teenagers, they're a bit of a different beast. I specialize in teenagers. Things change in the teen years. You can still get respect and all that, but you've got to change how you parent. Okay, my neighbor's dogs. There we go. They're trying to train them not to go nuts in the hall. It's not working. Anyway, I got to go over to TikTok now. Thanks so much for joining me. Check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course for 3 to 12 years old, or you can look into coaching. Anyway, happy parenting, and I'm hopping over to TikTok. I'm on YouTube the whole time while I'm doing this. Sorry about the webcam. It's messed up. So I'm looking like that, unfortunately, because my webcam's up there, but it's not working. I'm talking to YouTube here. But my daughter takes all my videos from YouTube, so I need to do it. I'm not going to waste a whole live without her being able to get these. Oh, please, am I on the right one? Oh, please. No, or am I? People will tell me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm on the right one. Am I on the parenting TikTok? Can you tell me if I am? I hope I'm not in my personal one. Is this the Bratbusters parenting TikTok? I have no way of finding out. Like, no, I mean, I can't figure out how to find out. Can you let me know? Is this the parenting TikTok? Yes, thank you. Okay, because I have a personal one. It's just my time. I talk about old lady fitness stuff. I'm not even on there very much anymore, but sometimes I'll turn up on there by mistake. And they're like, what are you talking about parenting for? Okay, so thanks so much for joining me. Welcome to my live. This Philippines. Hi, Philippines. Mumshi Tintin. I don't recognize that name. I had a name yesterday. It was the person's real name. I don't know what platform they were on, but their name was Wixie, Wixie. I've never heard that before. Isn't that cute? Wixie. I thought that was adorable. And I got a client who's got the most beautiful name. And I actually said, is that real? And they have actually changed their name. Yeah, legally changed it. But it's just the most beautiful name. I can't say it, obviously. It was gorgeous. Yeah, Wixie. Isn't that cute? I love that. Okay, I'm also on YouTube at the same time. Unfortunately, my normal webcam is not working, so it's just my MacBook, and it's not a very good one. Plus, it's not where the phone is, so I'm always looking up like that. So I'll try and keep my face down, but my eyes will be up there because I have to read all the questions on there. Kansas. Hello, Kansas. Why did you put a sunflower on there? Is that your state flower, or you just like to use sunflowers? Because every state has a flower, doesn't it? My name is Christine, but she has a cute name. Christine's pretty too. I like my name. I always liked my name, Lisa. I had some friends who I was never big on a lot of what was out there. Yeah, state flower. Yeah, okay. I was never big on some of the names that went. I won't say them, but yeah, some of them were heavier. I was born in 1960. There were some really heavy names out there. So I always liked my name. Okay. Lawrence, Massachusetts. Never heard of Lawrence before. Kansas also. Excellent. You know what drives me nuts? A lot of stuff drives me nuts. I'm not OCD, but I do have some perfection things going on. But anyway, I don't understand West Virginia and Virginia. Where's East Virginia? There's North Dakota, South Dakota, West Virginia, and then just Virginia. But then I looked at it. It's like West Virginia is just little, and then East, and then just Virginia is sort of around it. But still, it just doesn't add up to me. Okay, here we go. Tips for taking pacifier away at nighttime. Little one is 21 months old. Get them a replacement. Get them something else that they can hold on to. You never just rip something away. You give them something else. My son was 18 months old when I took the passy away from him. We used to call them dummies in Australia. The only reason I let him have it for that long was I would have taken it away earlier, but I wanted him to. We were going on a flight. We lived in Australia, so we were flying back to Canada, where I live now again. And we were flying back here to visit my family, and it was going to be a 24-hour trip with an 18-month-old. And I thought, I am not going to take that pacifier away from him on that big trip. So I let him have whatever he wanted on that whole trip, 24 hours traveling. He never slept, by the way, for 24 hours, an 18-month-old. Anyway, and he was really good. He was just, his eyes were like this, though, and then he crashed hard. So anyway, we get home, and the day after we arrived back home, I had really bad jet lag. So did my son. And I thought, that's it. Today I'm taking all the dummies away from him. Stupid me. Jet lag. I don't know what gets into me. When I get something in my head, I'm just going to do it right now. So anyway, I said to him, okay, so you're a big boy now. Look, I got you a new sippy cup, but we're going to put all of your dummies away because you're a big boy and big boys don't use dummies. So anyway, I had him help me. We collected them all. I actually put them around the house, which they normally weren't because I was always cleaning them. But I said, okay, here's one. We put them all in a bag and zipped it up. And then I picked him up and he held the bag and we went out in the garage and I opened up the big wheelie bin. I said, bye-bye dummies. And he threw them in. So I thought, I am in for a heck of a day. And I just was dreading it. I couldn't believe I did that. I thought, how stupid. He never asked for a dummy once all day. He was more, that's time, he was kind of learning that when mom said something, it was going to happen. He would have been worse with his dad, who was more the pleaser. There usually is a pleaser and a leader. There's nothing wrong with that. He would have pushed his dad probably more. But once he saw it go into that big wheelie bin, for some reason, he never asked again. And he had tantrums. I thought I was going to be in for it. And he had jet lag and tantrum. He never had one tantrum and never asked for them. And every time he'd go like this, he'd look over at me because he would look for the dummy and I'd look away like that really fast. I never got eye contact whenever he did that. But I kept saying, oh, look at your new sippy cup. So replace it with something else. It could just be something to sleep with, something to hold on to, whatever. So, but yeah, it just might be a nightmare. I lucked out with that. He did have tantrums. Normally I would think he would have, but he didn't. I just lucked out with that. But yeah, you just got to take it away. But you got to accept the fact that it's going to be a rough night. Yeah, everyone wants to avoid the storms, but you got to go through a storm to get to the rainbow. Everyone says, how do we teach kids how to not do this and how to do that with no scenes, fits, tantrums, or meltdowns at all? And I'm like, I don't know, go find someone else. It's impossible. Transitions require some upsets, some storms. That's normal. You got to be willing to go through that. If you're afraid of that, they're in charge. Nashville. Hello, Nashville. And I just want to say thanks for your support on TikTok. I tell you what happened 2 years ago. My business has been running now for 17 years. It was mostly word of mouth, and it was going fine. And my daughter kept saying, "Mom, you got to try TikTok. I think you might like it because I hate all this video. I don't edit anything." And I said, "Yeah, okay." And she goes, "It's just quick videos. Throw it out there." So I did, and it took off overnight. Went berserk. And I did not see that coming. She didn't see that coming either. So then she helped me. She joined in because she's good at social media. She goes, I'm going to put you on Instagram and Facebook too. And now she works with me and she manages all that. But yeah, I just took off. I think people are just ready to hear this. I think they realize the pleaser parent trying to make everything easy for your kids is not working. You're raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. This is where all the victim mentality, all this woke culture is coming from. It's all that. They're so delicate. They have no fortitude, no strength. They're all victims. They're all whiny. Not all of them. I'm exaggerating, of course. I'm just getting my point across. I do tend to exaggerate, in case you haven't noticed. Do you let your toddler walk around the house having a tantrum while ignoring them? Yeah, they can do whatever they want. I'm not having anything to do with them. They generally don't do that, though. They generally want to be around you so you can, because they do it for you. The tantrum is for you. So yeah, they generally want you to see it. They want you to be around. But yeah, I don't walk away from them unless I'm going to go and wander around and do some chores, look like I don't even notice them. So 2-year-old throws tantrum during haircut, making it impossible to get it done. Yeah, I can't help you with that. It's like parents ask me about the dentist too. They're not stupid. You can't fool them with anything. So yeah, it's just a stage usually. There's some really good hairdressers that specialize in children though. You know, they have the special airplane seats or whatever, and they might have puppet shows or something, you know, like just someone, they might have puppets that you can use or something. So look, I would look up a children's hairdresser, but if they've decided they don't like a haircut, good luck with that. I would do it in their sleep. My son didn't like getting his hair cut. He was more the fussy one. And oh God, this was awful. I used to cut my husband's hair. I still cut my hair. And I've always cut everyone's hair. So anyway, I was cutting his hair once and I had these really sharp shears. He didn't like getting it done, but he was, I don't know, doing something at the same time. And he didn't mind me doing it. I never took him to a hairdresser. I accidentally clipped a little bit of his ear. Like I literally clipped off some skin. Now he was a very delicate little rose petal. He did not like falling, or he was very cautious. And I thought, oh my God, he never even noticed it. It never bled, but you could see that it had actually clipped some skin off. And I thought, whoops. I'd never make a hairdresser, obviously. Okay. Someone who will come to the house, that can work. But also, if they've decided they don't want someone coming at them with scissors, it's going to be difficult. It can work, maybe, yeah. Probably pay a lot more money to do that, have someone come over, and then they won't do it anyway. Uh, I've heard of parents who've tried everything. They say you can have this as soon as you get your hair cut. When they've decided, you know what they're like. Once they've decided that it's not happening, it's not happening. How to discipline a 2-year-old when throwing tantrums. You never discipline a tantrum. And they hit during a tantrum. You don't discipline anything that a toddler does during a tantrum. You just physically restrain them. So you physically restrain them if they're hurting themselves, hurting someone else, or damaging property. You might want to check out my course. It's the toddler tantrum busting. It's a very short course. Some people have complained it's too short. I looked in there, and there's no way I could buff that up. That's everything you need to hear. Tantrums are not that complicated. But yeah. So check that out. It's in the link above. Yeah, I've had 2 people who said they thought it was too short. And I looked at it, and I don't know what else I could put in there. I only put in what I think you need to hear, put it that way. Okay. What's your opinion on screen time under 2? I don't really have any. Like what I mean by that, I don't have an opinion on screen time because the jury's out. What do we know what is good for them and what isn't? But reality is screens are in to stay, so in some form. So I don't think they're bad. My kids, I was really lucky. We had in Australia where I was there for about 20 years. My kids grew up there. And they had this channel. They had 4 channels. They had channel 7, 9, and 10. Then they also had channel 2, which was the government channel. And it was mostly kids programming or documentaries when it was kids were in bed. So it was a really good educational fit. Well, their shows were fantastic, like just fantastic. They were really educational. And one of my absolute favorite shows was called Play School, I think. And it was really good. Trisha Goddard, I think. She's in England now. She's got a show. She was the head of that. She was very good at it. And she's doing some show in England now. But anyway, she did this Play School show. It was fantastic. And it was when Sesame Street was really good. It was like that. Sesame Street now, I think it's just all Elmo squeaking about stuff. I don't know. It's just all so commercial now. But from what I heard, I've never seen it actually. But the one show I loved that I would recommend for almost any kid is called Art Attack. And it's very vibrant, very active, and even little toddlers will look at it. But it's very creative. And it's the original one. He was English guy, because I lived in Australia. A lot of our shows were Pommy, like English shows. And it was English, and it was the old one, like the guy was from the 80s or something. And you can tell by the way he's dressed. He's dressed in those crazy sweaters. And but yeah, it's called Art Attack, and it's fantastic. I still sometimes watch it on YouTube. So yeah, Art Attack. Actually, I'm going to look at that later on again, because I've got it for a client right now. I forgot to mention that to them. So yeah, so I think a lot of shows are fantastic. You can get a little bit dangerous though if you start throwing phones at them just to shut them up when you're doing stuff. You just got to kind of watch that. But yeah. Time is it? Okay, I got one more session tonight with a client, and then I'll be done. You grew up watching Art Attack, love it. Yeah. I don't know many people who've seen it. I think because it's mostly Australian and England, I think, that watch it. Do you have a schedule where you do sessions according to age groups? No, I don't at all. I just do everything. I've got a really tight schedule actually. So most of my time is spent coaching parents and then doing back-end business stuff, of course. And but yeah, I don't do that because what happens is I was going to do that. We've looked into a whole bunch of stuff. I was going to do that, but then I might get 2 people turn up to a teenage one and 4. So I just mix it up, and yeah, you get what you get, right? And I can't answer all the questions, obviously. Now, how do I connect with a 13-year-old girl who seems grumpy most of the time? You enter her world, but you wait till you're invited. So whatever she likes, does she like dancing to TikTok dances, stuff like that? Say, hey, do you want to check out some TikTok dances? I want to give it a go. Enter her world, but wait till you're invited. Don't force it on her. Like don't go dancing in her room, force it on her, but just say, hey, do you want to go do DDR at the arcade or buy that? My daughter and I, we love DDR so much. That's Dance Dance Revolution. That's that game where you step on all these squares to music. I love that thing. I used to go to the arcade as a 40-year-old woman and do that all by myself at the arcade. How embarrassing. But and then we bought really good mats at home. You can get a really good quality mats for that for at home. And yeah, just enter her world. Don't expect her to want to do what you want to do. Find what she likes and then say, hey, can you show me what you're doing? Hey, do you want to do that? And try and enter her world, but wait till you're invited. Don't force yourself on her, but show an interest in what she likes. I was working with a client the other day and she goes, well, I don't like anything my kids like. And I said, well, learn. I said, my son was into heavy metal music and gaming. I don't like either. And, but I learned to. I loved Crash Bandicoot and I liked Guitar Hero. And there were certain games that he could show me and we could play together. And so I entered his world. I didn't expect him to enter I love cleaning. You think I expected him to love getting a toothbrush in the shower? Like, come on, you enter, and no one would like doing that. But anyway, except me. But another thing was heavy metal music. He said, I said, oh, what do you like about it? And he said, well, listen to this drum solo. There was one where a guy was in a sphere and he was upside down drumming. It was quite neat, actually. So then my son got me into music. He said, and I'm very honest too. I'd say, hate that. Oh, I kind of like that. Now I listen to Slipknot and I have a real varied, on my workout playlist, I have Michael Bublé, Slipknot, a lot of Eminem. Without Me is my favorite one right now. But also my favorite album was NWA's Greatest Hits. I only like the Greatest Hits one. I don't like, there's another album out. It's just so foul. I can't stand it. But not that the first one isn't anyway. But yeah, so, open your mind. See what they're doing. You can learn from your kids. If you're not learning from your kids, you're missing out. So I'm quite open-minded. I'm actually very impressionable. If I like someone, and I say this all the time, I go, I hate that, I'd never do it. My son-in-law called me on that once. And he says, yeah, give it a try. You might like it. Oh, okay. I have no pride or dignity. So yeah, open your mind and see what your daughter's doing. And then say, hey, can you show me that? And she might actually say, yeah, come on, let's go do that. So open your mind and your heart and show an interest in their world. Oops, I actually have to get going. So I'm just reading. I actually have to get going now. I've got to get a couple things done before I have my last appointment tonight. And anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or you can look into coaching. The behavior board is completely free. And a lot of people are getting great results with just that and these lives and my videos. So, but yeah, if you want coaching, that's the top level. That's one-on-one with me. I can't take everyone on these days. I'm really busy. So, but you can check into it first. If you really want to sign up for coaching, let me know the age of your kids and what you're going through. Because even though I don't have a lot of spots opening up, I do like to mix up the ages, so I never know what age I'm looking for. I got a ton of teenagers right now because I usually will take teenagers if you're dealing with teenagers, because not many people specialize in teenagers, and it just happens to be my specialty. So if you do have teenagers and you're struggling with them, I'll probably always take you on as a client. And I always take on past clients too, or crisis work too. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you had a great Mother's Day, as did I. And we'll talk again soon. Take care. Bye now.